And hello YouTube, GSmaniamsmart here doing a brand new video for Gaming with GS. Today we're here on Hearthstone, and I want to share with you a very cool deck that I've made. It's similar to decks that are online, but I added a little twist to it and replaced a few cards and made some changes. But this is a C'Thun deck. So the C'Thun card is a card that everyone gets for free. You should have it. And it's a legendary. It's the only free legendary you get. And you can make a pretty good deck out of it. So, this deck is mainly focused around building up your C'Thun. This is the C'Thun card. And what it does, it deals damage equal to its attack. And it's randomly split among all enemies. So, this is your main weapon. However, this build that I have created here is so good that you don't even need to use your only legendary in the deck. This deck has enough pressure, has enough aggression in it, that you can win a lot of games with only using basically all your cards below 6 mana. It's kind of a mixture of a tempo mage, kind of a mixture of an aggressive mage with a mixture of a C'Thun deck. So let me go run through the cards real quick. This shouldn't cost you much. It might cost you like 1,000 dust only, which isn't very difficult. If you have a few legendaries or epics that you don't use, you can just disenchant them and you can get 1,000 dust fairly easy. So I guess I'll go over some of the core cards. I went over C'Thun. This is you only need one of them. I would say the other core cards that we have is Cult Sorcerer. Cult Sorcerer is great because it does spell damage +1. So all spells that you have in your deck do an extra damage. We have quite a few spells in our deck. But the other cool thing is whenever you cast a spell, you're boosting your C'Thun by 1. So a lot of these cards in our deck here are boosting our C'Thun, which make them a threat on board. Not only are they a threat with their passive ability here, where they give +1 to another card constantly, but they also give threat because they're a 3/2. And other ones we have here, for example, this one here is a 3/4. So they're very powerful. But this is a core card right here, Cult Sorcerer. It makes your gameplay so much better. You have to have this definitely. Cult Sorcerer is great. The other one we're going to be using is Mana Worm, obviously. If you're a mage, Mana Worm is your best friend. This is also a huge threat because not only is it a 1/3, so on your first round, not a lot of people can clear this, but with the amount of spells that we have in this deck, you can boost this up pretty high. In combination, if you combine the Mana Worm and the Cult Sorcerer, a lot of times having these two out early game is the best options that you have, followed up with some spells. Then you have 2 threats on the board. They either have to focus on killing this, which means your Mana Worm's up and you're constantly building it up, or they have to focus on killing the Mana Worm, which means your Cult Sorcerer is up and you're constantly boosting your C'Thun and you're getting +1 to all of your damage spells. So having a double threat on the board is really good. So these are 2 prime cards that I think are really good. Another prime card that we have here is Twilight Elder. And this is such a good card because it once again has a double threat. Not only is it a 3/4, which means it has a good amount of health and it can do a good amount of damage, but at the end of every turn, you'll be giving +1 to your C'Thun. So if you can have your Mana Worm, your Cult Sorcerer, and your Twilight Elder out, you pretty much have the game in your bag. Because they'll either need to use a board clear, and most board clears early on can't even kill this Twilight Elder, or they'll need to focus on killing one of these, and all of them are going to benefit you in the end. So this is a great card to have for early threat if you want to put something on the board to distract your enemy. If you want them to focus on something to keep something else alive, Twilight Elder is great because every turn they avoid killing this, you'll be constantly boosting your C'Thun. Some other ones that I think are really good is Faceless Summoner. And this is really good because you can really stack your board up and go heavy aggro. I've had a few games where my entire board is filled because I've had Faceless Summoner up, and it would summon a random minion that would say something like, oh, give a boost to all of your minions by 1 or 2 attack, or summon another minion at the end of every turn. Any 3-cost minion can be brought to the board. And you have a huge variety of getting 3-cost minions. So if you really want to stack the board, Faceless Summoner is a great threat. And it can really help you in clearing. It can really help you in bringing something to the board if you have nothing. So this is another really good one. It has its limited usage, but when you use it, it's really good. And Flame Strike is good because it's board clear, and I've needed to board clear several times. We do have easy removal in this deck. We have Polymorph, we have Fireball, so you can do some removal, but having a board clear is good as well. Then the other cards that I have in this deck, they are replaceable. You can use other things, but I think they are still really good. Beckoner of Evil, every time you bring it out, it gives a +2 to your C'Thun. Frostbolt is good because it can freeze, and it's just another spell. It's a low mana cost spell. Arcane Intellect, same thing, low mana cost spell, plus you gain 2 cards. The Disciple of C'Thun, this is a really good one, not only because it gives your C'Thun +2, but it's a great way to deal with minions that you may not want to deal with your other minions. For example, you may not want to sacrifice your Cult Sorcerer, or you may not want to sacrifice your Mana Worm to kill something. So Disciple of C'Thun is really good because it has that battle cry to deal 2 damage, and you can clear some things very easily just by bringing this out. Not a huge threat, but it's great for clearing things and removal. And then the C'Thun Chosen. This one is, once again, I don't use this every game, but it does have a Divine Shield, which makes it a good meat shield, so you can soak up some damage with this, and it also gives your C'Thun +2/+2 when you bring the card out. So you see a lot of these cards actually focus around boosting your C'Thun, and this is already a threat enough to the enemy where they're saying, okay, I have to focus on clearing some of these things. But as they're clearing your minions, you could possibly be building up your Mana Worm and casting a bunch of spells at the exact same time, or you might have your Twilight Elder up. While the enemy can potentially deal with the threat that's on the board, they may not be able to deal with what's happening in the background, which is boosting your C'Thun. So it's a really good deck because you have double threat in a lot of areas. So Arcane Missiles we went over, you want to have 2 of those. Mana Worm we went over, you want to have 2 of those. Beckoner of Evil we went over, you want to have 2 of those. Cult Sorcerer went over, you want to have 2 of those. Frostbolt 2 of those. Arcane Intellect 2 of those. Disciple of C'Thun 2 of those. Twilight Elder 2 of those. C'Thun Chosen 2 of those. Fireball, like I said, great removal, and if you have 2 Cult Sorcerers out, you can very easily, you have 8 damage there, so a huge boost. This is good. Polymorph, great for, if you see a big legendary out there or an 8/8 taunt, then this is a great way to remove it. We don't have any taunts in our deck, but the Shield Master here is a fairly good taunt. It's a beginner card, but it does the job, so this is fine to have. The Azure Drake, once again, not something that's really required in the deck. You can very easily switch this out with something else, but it does give you some more spell damage. So if you have this out with a Cult Sorcerer, then you're giving yourself 2 extra spell damage. And it's also a card that does 4 damage, so the enemy might decide to kill this first because it has a higher threat level, and maybe the Cult Sorcerer will then be kept out still. So you have some backups. If your Cult Sorcerer gets all killed, you still have an Azure Drake to deal with getting you extra spell damage. Faceless Summoner we went over, tap 2 of those. Flame Strike we went over. Doomcaller, this is once again a card that you could switch out if you want to. However, if you're dealing with a priest, for example, or if you're dealing with a mage that uses Ice Barrier a lot, you may need to use your C'Thun to clear the board, or you may need to get rid of some armor a lot. So if you happen to be in that situation, it's a rare situation, but it can happen, and you use up your C'Thun to defend yourself, you can bring out Doomcaller, and it will actually revive your C'Thun. And you can also use it just to boost your C'Thun +2/+2, but most of the time you want to use this to revive your C'Thun. So if you happen to have used this for a reason, you can bring it back very easily with Doomcaller. Other than that, it's not that great of a card because it does cost 8 mana, so it's a pretty big cost for a 7/9. It could be a threat, but quite frankly, I've only used this card maybe 1 time out of the 30 games I've played with this deck. So it can very easily be replaced if you don't like it. And then we obviously have our C'Thun here. So that's basically the deck. It's fairly easy to play. I would say just focus on getting a mana worm out first. That's your primary goal. Get a mana worm out first. If you can't get a mana worm out first, then try to get a cult sorcerer maybe. But you really want to have a hand that has either a combination of mana worm and cult sorcerer, or one of them and some spells. If you only have minions in your hand and no spells, then it's kind of a sucky hand, because a lot of these cards here synergize very well with your spells, and if you don't have any spells, then it just kind of sucks. So that's pretty much the deck. I'll have 2 games coming up next showing you how to play this deck. Like I said, the C'Thun is really only used as a finisher card. You don't really want to use this to attack somebody that has 25 health still, and your C'Thun only does 15 damage. This is mainly used as a finisher card. When a person has 10 health left and your C'Thun does 13 damage, and you're able to finish it off, then you want to use this. So in some games, you'll use this to blow the finishing blast and kill the person. Other games, you won't even use this card, but just the threat of having it in your hand is already good enough. And a lot of these other cards work so well together that you don't even need to have your C'Thun to win the game. You can win the game with a lot of these. So rarely I'll be able to play this card. When I do, though, it's usually either for board clear or, like I said, for the finishing blow. So we're going to go ahead and go into the 2 games, and hopefully that will show you how to play this deck, show you a few decisions that I've made. And I will probably make another video some other day where I'll show you a few more matches with this deck, as we did with the other 2 decks, where we'll show you how you can win games without needing any legendaries or epics. Yes, we do have a legendary in here, but everyone gets it, so it's not like you invested any real money in this, and everyone has the opportunity to play this deck. We're going to go ahead and go into the games. Hopefully you enjoy that, and you'll learn something more about this deck and how to play it. Alright, so we found a match. The ideal start for this deck is having the card that gives you... Oh, there it is. The Mana Worm. Having Mana Worm, and this is actually a great start. Having Mana Worm in combination with Cult Sorcerer and maybe a few low spell cards is really good. If you have any other C'Thun cards that give your C'Thun +1 or +2, it's also really good. I wish we would have gone first. If we were going first, we could have put really early pressure on with this. Next turn, this. And this doesn't come really into play mostly until mid-game, late game. This is a bit too high of a mana cost. Let's see if we can get some low cards. We should do perfect. This right here is almost like an amazing hand right here. I just wish we were going first. If we were going first, it would make a huge difference. But we're not going first, so that sucks. Let's see. I wish we would went first, because we could have placed this down, and then next turn we could have placed this down, then use our coin, and then use that, and we could have gotten rid of that, but oh well. So, let's go and put this down first. And my goal next round is to put this and then this and hopefully kill that. If not, we may have to hit 1 time with our Mana Worm. So we're going to save our coin. We'll see what he plays. Maybe he'll just... Okay, he's going to do a charge. Yeah, that's... Oh, he didn't kill? That's interesting. Usually people would kill the Mana Worm. Why would you not kill the Mana Worm? Okay, so let's do this. Let's see, can I at least kill the charge? That'll be nice. No, I didn't. Okay. Well, this sucks now because we're gonna lose our Mana Worm pretty much. I wish I could have killed that charge instead, but it didn't even hit once. Okay. Deal 4 damage to a minion. Okay, I guess that was a fairly good play. Let's add some pressure with... You see, the important thing about this card right here is that it brings a lot of pressure to the field. Not only because it's a 3/4, but because it constantly gives your C'Thun +1/+1. So the enemy is kind of forced to kill this if they don't want you consistently building up your C'Thun. So this will add some pressure. He'll have to kill this. He'll have to use a spell or something. So if he doesn't, then if he does use a spell, he can put nothing on the field, which means we're clear for the next round. If he doesn't put any, if he puts something on the field and doesn't kill this, well then we'll get another +1/+1 to our C'Thun for 2 more rounds. So the smart move would be to kill this immediately. Let's see if he does it. And next round, I don't want to use, well, I might have to use this. I wish I had a mana worm to use this though. And doesn't look like he's going to get rid of our thing. This is a death rattle, so this death rattle I'm not too concerned with, really. In fact, we can get rid of it. We're just gonna kill this and then get rid of that. And it says give a random friendly minion +1. Well, guess what? You're not gonna have enough. There we go. You're gone. And we'll give a battle cry here. There we go. And we get another +1/+1. The longer you keep this on the field, the better it is for you. Now, I'm not too knowledgeable about the Warlock cards, so he could have anything up his sleeves, and it'll be a surprise to me because I don't play Warlock a lot. So, the downside is that if you don't know what your enemy has in his deck, if you don't know the enemy's cards, you sort of have to play defensively. So he's going to use Life Trap again. And it looks like a 3 mana card. What can you put out with 3 mana? Not much. And he doesn't put out much. Okay. So I want to save my spells for a Mana Worm or for another Cult Sorcerer. So maybe I'm just going to... This is 2 mana. This is 2 mana. That's 4. I could use 2 here and then 3 here. And next round, I'm not sure if I'll have a minion, so I want to keep my minions up. But you know what? I'm going to take my chances and I'm going to keep this. And we're just going to keep on going. As you can see, we're consistently building our C'Thun here. Consistently. He has 6 mana. That could possibly be enough for a board clear. Does he have a board clear? No, he doesn't. He puts out a Murloc and he puts out a Legendary. And what does that do? Has +1 attack for each other Murloc on the battlefield. Well, that wasn't that smart of an idea, really. And look at that. There we have our C'Thun, which is 15/15, which is perfect. We're going to go ahead and clear that. And we'll clear that. And next round we won't even have enough to build this, so let me just use this because we'll need it anyway. Otherwise we're just wasting mana crystals. So there we go. We can put that out and then this out next. As you see, this deck does build on giving you more spell damage. We have 3 or 4 cards in this deck that boost your spell damage. And this is one of them just. So he clears 1 Life Trap. This person's not very good, or he just is getting bad cards. So we're gonna go ahead and bring this out now. And for every spell, it gives us +1/+1 here, and it gives +1 spell damage. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna do that. And would you look at that? There's the win. No legendaries, no rares needed. We didn't even need to use our C'Thun. All we needed to do was show that we can be dangerous. As long as you show that you can be dangerous, then you can win. And you know, a lot of people play legendaries and rares. Even nowadays, in such a low rank as I am, you see tons of people playing with legendaries and rares, but you don't need them to win at all. You don't even need to play them. As long as you have a deck focused around it, maybe you can have a pretty good playstyle. So we'll do one more to maybe show you the power of it. Garbage hand here, completely garbage. This does you no use. This does you no use. And these don't really do you any use either. Great hand. We threw our entire hand out and we got a good hand. Sadly, we're starting second again. I like to start first. Oh, great. That stupid legendary's in this game. God. Pass, please. Pass, please. And another legend. We have 2 legendaries in this game that are already annoying. My God, this is going to be an annoying game. I already see it. What's this? A new basic hero power. So you have healing. Okay, I guess. We're going to bring out this still. The plan is still the same. You can only do 1 damage to me, so you can't kill my mana worm. Death Rattle draws a card. Okay, I need to clear this real quick. So I have 2 mana. Can't really do much, can I? This has 2 health. Is it worth using this on it? This draws a card. I'm gonna have to kill this, obviously. Yeah, and I'll just have to... Actually, I can't even do that. Because next round, he'll kill me, so... Let's just attack. I probably should have used Frostbolt to kill them all. To kill both of them. Okay, next. Perfect. Now we can use our Frostbolt to kill that. And you know what? Now I'm going to use this to kill that. Thank you. Okay, that was well played on my part. I got rid of the entire board because I held on to my Frostbolt. As you can see, what happens when you hold on to your cards. 4 mana, what do you got? Are you going to clear my entire... Are you going to clear my 1 mana worm card with a board clear? No, you're not. Okay. Discover a 3-cost card. Okay. Will you pass? No, you're going to heal. Which is fine. I have to continuously clear that because if I don't, I'm gonna die. We'll bring out this for some more pressure. We'll attack. Sadly, no spells. If we had some spells in our hand, that'd be great, but we don't have any spells. So these things on the field are great cards to have, but if we have no spells, then I mean, what's the use of it? If she brings out a minion, I'll kill with this. If not, I'll add some pressure with this. And there's a spell. Perfect. We're gonna go ahead. Actually, do I want to do that? I don't think I want to do that. Let's just add more pressure. Now, I don't want to use this card because if she uses a board clear, we're screwed. So let's save this for a very dangerous minion. And if she board clears, we'll have this still up. And we'll still have a Cult Sorcerer. At the end of your turn, reduce what? Reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1. Okay, so I'm glad I held on to my Fireball because I can kill. And now we'll just attack, attack, and attack. If we can get our C'Thun, we automatically win. She might board clear us here. In fact, if she doesn't board clear us here, she's dead. So I'm expecting a board clear. Or a taunt. This has to be a board clear, isn't it? No, it's another rare or epic, whatever the hell it is. Look at all these epics and rares. My God. Can I get a polymorph, please? A polymorph would be amazing. It's not a polymorph, but it'll do. It'll do, and why will it do? Because I think we can... 0 legendaries needed. 0 epics needed. I didn't even need to use my C'Thun. This person is stacked with legendaries, stacked with epics, and we still win that. And why? Because we have so much pressure on the board. We constantly cleared. So that's pretty much it. Those are the 2 games that we played. Hopefully you found that helpful. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video. Like I said, we'll have another video coming up fairly soon where I'll play a few more games and feature those games in a video where I'm playing this C'Thun deck. So if you want more gameplay, if you want more help, if you want more examples of how to play this, then you'll get more soon. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go and subscribe. Plenty of other Hearthstone videos on the channel. Plenty more to come in the future as well. This is a game that I play occasionally, and sometimes I'll make new decks, sometimes I'll use the same decks forever. But I will be updating the channel with some more Hearthstone videos very soon, so I encourage you to subscribe. Any questions, comments, feedback, suggestions for this deck? If I missed something, I'm obviously not a pro player at this, so if you have better suggestions and ideas than I do, definitely leave it in the comments section. And those of you watching, check the comments section as well. And if you want to donate $1 to my Patreon page, you can do so as well. Click the card on the top right hand corner of the screen will bring you to the page. And if you want to check out the vlogging channel, the e-tutorials channel, the advice channel, the music channel, links are in the description as well as in the end screen. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching as always. This is GSmaniamsmart, and I'll be back sooner than you think. Don't go anywhere.